Hi everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day and a fabulous 2024 so far. This is my first video back since before the holidays, so I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and New Year. In front of us here we have a tray of some pieces that I've picked up recently. These are a combination of online purchases, some from some local thrift shops and antique stores. And yeah, just some really beautiful pieces that I wanted to share with you. So really quickly, just before we get into it, I wanted to mention, just because I've been getting more comments recently asking about pricing on items and if I'm selling them or where they can purchase them, and I just wanted to make it clear that these videos are not meant to be sales videos, so I'm not sharing these items with the intent of selling them to you guys. There are a lot of amazing sellers here on YouTube, so if that is the type of content you're looking for, I do have a list of sellers that I love to watch their auctions or their sales videos down in the description, so please go take a look at some of those channels if that's the sort of content you're looking for, because there are some incredible sellers here. But I'm here really just to share jewelry. I just love jewelry, and I've been learning more about vintage and antique pieces, so I'm always excited to share them here on YouTube because there's such a great community of people and a wealth of knowledge, people who know much more than I do. I've only been collecting for a few years and have lots to learn. So that is really the point of these videos. It's really just meant to be a place to share and talk about these pieces. I hope in the future to be able to set up some type of shop for the pieces that I want to let go of my collection, because I do have a lot of jewelry. I don't plan on keeping all of these pieces forever, but I am sort of curating my collection at this point. So sometime in the future, I hope to have some more time and I'll be able to set up a dedicated shop specific to vintage and antique jewelry pieces. But for now, I do have a Poshmark Closet if anyone is interested. Keep in mind that I do not update it super regularly. It is not something that I consider a full-time job. It is just sort of a hobby that I do on the side. And most of the pieces that I share with you on this channel are not going to be posted there. Most of these items are going into my own collection, but there are a few items that I post there. So if you're ever interested, it's down in the description. You can definitely take a look. But yeah. Thank you for listening to my little spiel. I just wanted to be clear. I didn't want to confuse people thinking that I'm selling here on this channel. I'm not currently, maybe someday though. So okay, let's get into the items on this tray. Okay, so first I think I'm gonna start with the rings. So there's only 2 rings here on this tray. And the first one here is this absolutely gorgeous opal ring. And this is yellow gold. I want to say this is 12 karat yellow gold. I wish I could remember exactly. It's not hallmarked, unfortunately, but here's what the inside looks like. Really beautiful. And I got this for a steal, and that is because it is missing the seed pearls. So we have 2 seed pearls still intact up here, but it is missing the 3rd and then the 3 on the bottom. And one of the opals is also slightly chipped. So this ring was only $40 and I just thought it was gorgeous. So these opals, I might have to take a video and insert it here because I feel like it's not coming up as vibrant as it is in real life. These opals are so beautiful. They're really vibrantly colored. There's green and blue and red flashes, and I just thought they were stunning. Ugh, I love this ring. I couldn't pass it up for $40, and I think it's really beautiful. So that's the first piece that I have picked up recently. And then the second is this really gorgeous blue calcedony ring. And this one I actually picked up from Gina over at Gina Gay Sells Jewelry. She had this in one of her live auctions recently, and it is gorgeous. I love how large it is. It does have a surround of marcasite. There are a few missing marcasite, which doesn't really bother me. She did mention that as she was selling it, so no problem there, but it is just beautiful. All sterling. It is closed back here. Yeah, just a really beautiful blue calcedony sterling silver ring. Thought it was gorgeous. And the missing marcasites honestly don't bother me. When you're wearing this, you really can't even tell. And unfortunately, that is just something that happens with these older marcasite pieces. I have a number of jewelry items that have marcasites, and there's usually 1 or 2 missing. It's just something that happens with these pieces, and it doesn't bother me too much. Again, you know, if you look at this from a distance, it is gorgeous. I don't think anyone would ever notice those few missing stones, but really beautiful. Gorgeous pickup. I love that. Thank you, Gina. So maybe we'll talk about these Cameo pieces. Okay, and so the first one I want to share is this really beautiful carved shell Cameo. It's a nice large size. It is set in sterling silver. And on the back here, you can see that we have a trombone clasp because it has that sliding mechanism like a trombone slide. All in sterling, the pin and the setting. Really beautiful, nice large size. Price was right on this. I think this was under $30, and I definitely thought it was worth picking up. Really gorgeous. And from the same seller, I also picked up, and I'm gonna hold these here just for size. So this one is a pretty large brooch, but this one is massive. And there are some condition issues with this one, unfortunately, but look at how beautiful the carving is on this. It's just so gorgeous. So we have this beautifully carved woman here holding what I believe is a pheasant. It might be a peacock, but just gorgeous. I love her hands, just the lines of this. She's just so beautifully done. And you can see that there is some chipping to the shell, unfortunately. So there is some damage, but honestly, I just thought she was worth saving. And again, it is all set in sterling. We have our tube hinge here and a really nice long pin, as well as a little bail up at the top here. Just gorgeous. So I need to figure out if there's a way to better conserve this. Right now, I just have a tiny little bit of wax that I placed in here. Where this lighter color is, it's actually a hole. So this shell was chipped out. So I placed a little bit of wax just to visually make it look whole. So I'm gonna have to do some research on the best ways to conserve these pieces because I think she is worth saving and finding a more permanent solution. But yeah, really, really gorgeous carved shell. And you can see there is some remnants of some glue. So someone else has done some repairs on this piece as well, probably because of the chipping, just to make sure it stayed in its frame. But look how large she is. Gorgeous. I love her. Again, this one was, I think, under $30 as well. So both really great finds, I thought. So I have a few Scottish style brooches that I've picked up recently, and these are the three. So beautiful. So this first one is sterling silver with some beautiful etching. And in the center, we have this beautiful faceted citrine. And I did pick up a presidium for Christmas, so that was my gift to myself. So I was able to test this, and it is a carom gorm citrine. So a beautiful dark amber orange color there. We have some agates along with some other inlaid stone. This one here looks like dragon skin or something. I don't know the name of this stone, but it's really cool. Here is what the back of this pin looks like. We have our tube and our little C clasp there. Really beautiful Scottish stone brooch. I love that. And this one is kind of similar in design in that we have this beautiful faceted orange stone along with some other inlaid stones around. This one is in more of a floral shape. Here's what the back of this one looks like. And you can see that this one is actually marked sterling silver right on the top there. And when I hit this one with my presidium, this one came up as glass. So that's something to be aware of, that sometimes in these Scottish pieces, they did mix real stones and glass. So it's definitely worth checking. And you can see these do have a slightly different color. This one is a little bit deeper orange, but the citrines do come in many different shades, so definitely worth testing. But even though this is just glass, it is beautiful. And then finally, we have this tiny little Scottish dirk sterling silver pin. Again, we have a tube hinge and a C clasp, and it is marked sterling. You can see it's kind of worn off the back there, but it is marked sterling on the back. And I believe these are just rhinestones. So we have a yellow and then a green. I've not tested these with the presidium. Maybe that's something I should do, but I believe that they're just faux, probably glass. And then a little jasper or agate stone there. Really sweet. It's a nice small size, and I was happy to add that one. Next, I found these two Italian mosaic pieces at my local antique store. This first one here is a little more common of a design. So we have a gold tone metal. It is worn on the back a bit, but we have our beautiful glass pieces all inlaid. in this gorgeous design with flowers at the center. And then this piece is quite a bit larger and a little more finely done. If you can kind of see the way that the glass is inlaid, this one is just done with a little more precision, a little more detail, and I think it is absolutely beautiful. I love this one so, so much. And you can see with like the tiny little daisy looking flowers, how small those little pieces of glass are. You know, that's sort of bordering on the micro mosaic style, but we do have some larger pieces inlaid as well. I just love the contrast of all the different types of flowers, the beautiful red color. I love this one. I think it's gorgeous. And this one is marked Italy on the back. So right there, it is marked Italy. Just a gold tone metal. I think they're both brass. This one probably has you can see that it's quite worn, but had some gilt gold over top, but gorgeous pieces. I'm absolutely in love with this one. And here's a really beautiful Victorian gold tone, probably rolled gold or gold filled. You can see from the back here, it is a closed back, and you can see some of the gold loss on the pin. Here is what that hinge looks like. Most likely this is a replacement. We have the remnants of a typical tube hinge, and then it's kind of an interesting construction on that. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, but here is the clasp. But this is a really classic Victorian design. I love the frame here. It looks like filigreed lace. We've got this beautiful scalloped detail around the center and this really raised, rounded, almost globe shape in the center, and it's just beautiful. It's very dimensional, which I really liked. And yeah, I just loved this one. I have a lot of sterling silver pieces. I don't have a ton of gold in my brooch collection, so I thought this was a nice addition. I really loved it. Here's another absolutely beautiful Victorian pin. This one is sterling. We have this gorgeous crescent moon shape with some flower detail and some leaf pattern. And you can see along the edges we have that cannonball design, which is very typical of the Victorian period. Here is the back. We have our tube hinge and C-clasp. And this one is fairly lightweight. You can see that it's sort of hollowed out in the center, but it's so beautiful. I love the crescent moon shape of this. I think it's really feminine and beautiful. Very happy to add this to my collection. Gorgeous. Next we have another Victorian era pin. You can see this one has a two-toned gold and silver metal. And then we have tiny little seed pearls. And it's interesting because they are multicolored. So we have some gray tones, some more peachy tones, some more white. And there is one that is slightly damaged here. But I just loved the style of this. So you can see we have that cannonball detail around the edges again, which I really love. I've noticed that detail in a lot of brooches that I'm drawn to. I just think it's really beautiful. And then here is the back of this one. Again, a tube hinge there and a C-clasp. And then there is a tiny little bail. Just a beautiful one. Here's another pretty little brooch. This one is amethyst glass set into sterling silver. Here is what the back of that looks like. And you can see, if you look at it from the side, how domed this glass is. So it's a really nice piece of glass there, faceted and so beautiful and sparkly. Love it. And I love the detail of this border. Just think it's really, really pretty. A bit more of an Art Nouveau style, I guess. And this one is just another sterling Victorian era pin, and unfortunately someone went pretty hard with the silver cleaner on this one. You can see it is super bright and shiny. I think it was very recently polished, but I just couldn't leave it. And it does have some hallmarks here. It says AW and S, I believe, along with some other sterling hallmarks. So I do wish it had a bit more of its natural patina to it, but that's okay. It will, with time, gain its patina back. That is what happens to sterling. But yeah, a beautiful little bar brooch. Happy to have found this piece. Really, really pretty. And now this one. I fell in love with this brooch. This was on Shop Goodwill, and I saw the picture of it and just fell in love with the style. I absolutely love the shape of this. It almost looks like a bow or a bow tie shape to me. I loved the black enamel outlines set against the white guilloche enameling. So beautiful. It's almost iridescent. We have this little gold butterfly in the center, along with our pink and green flowers. It's so beautiful. I believe this is Edwardian era, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has a bit of Art Deco flair to it, a little bit of Art Nouveau as well. It's almost like a combination of styles. So down in the comments, if you are familiar with this type of brooch and there is a particular name for it, please let me know. I love to learn, but yeah, I just saw this and fell in love with it. I love the colors. I think it's so sweet. And here's what the back of this looks like. So this one is pretty heavily tarnished on the back. You can see it is marked sterling, and it does have a few other hallmarks there. Just gorgeous. I also think it's in really nice condition for its age. A lot of times this white enamel can get yellowed. I've also seen it with rust spots, etc. So this one is actually in pretty nice shape. Really beautiful. And then we have this gorgeous little brooch. And you can see there is a really, really beautiful banded agate stone in there. Look at the color banding. So beautiful. And then this frame has this gorgeous leaf pattern etched along. You can see that bezel is also really beautifully made. I just thought it was gorgeous. And again, we have our tube hinge and our C-clasp. And I believe this is a low carat gold. I think this is like a 9 karat gold probably. I did test it, but I only have the 10 karat acid solution. So when I test it with the 10 karat acid, it does dissolve slightly, but there is still a line visible. So to my knowledge, that means it's testing under 10 karat, but there is still some gold content in this. I would need to have some further testing done to confirm, but really beautiful either way. Love the stone in this. It's really beautiful, and it's really nice and translucent as well. And then we have two brooches that are kind of similar in style in that we have these beautiful faceted white stones. So for this first one, I loved the Maltese cross design in a rose gold metal. And if you look at the facets on these, you know, from the side, you can see that those are definitely hand cut. They're not the same. They are slightly different sizes and cut slightly differently, but look at how beautiful they are. Here is what the back and the pin looks like. Just gorgeous. Kind of simple. And these ones I believe are glass with my Presidium, and it did not come up as like a quartz or a rock crystal. So I think these are just glass, but look at how sparkly they are. I should probably test this again, because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, these are just too beautiful to be glass, but they might be. They very well could be. Or maybe a leaded crystal of some sort. And then this one is also just really beautiful faceted stones. And similarly, if you look at them from, oops, let me just close this here. With this one, similarly, if you look at it from the side, you can see that these are also hand cut. The flat table or top of these stones are slightly different sizes, definitely hand faceted and just beautiful. And you can see how far those points come. They pass, you know, the back of the bezel setting. And this is sterling silver as well. It's not marked, but I did test the metal. And this one has the round hinge, but still a C-clasp. Just beautiful. I need to test this with the Presidium as well. Maybe I'll do that at the end of this video. So stay tuned if you want to check that with me. I feel like these could be rock crystal. They're just gorgeous. Love this piece. Again, most of the pieces on this tray were really fairly priced. I didn't pay up too much for anything on this tray except for one item. And actually, I'll share it with you now. I actually think I probably overpaid for this, but that's okay. So here is a really beautiful beaded Cameo bracelet. It has this beautiful filigree box clasp, and the clasp itself is marked sterling. It does have a gold wash over top. But what I didn't see, so I found this online, and you know, they had nice pictures of it and they showed the silver marking on the clasp. that just says sterling. But what I didn't see in the pictures is the back of this piece, which is marked 925. And then I think this is HOVIG or MOVIG. I need to look that up again. But I did not see the back of this or this little dot, which, does that look like somebody maybe performed a hot needle test on this? Or I'm just not sure. So when I saw this, I thought that this was bone, like a carved bone. And I do think that these beads are carved bone. But this cameo, I'm actually not sure the material. I'm debating whether it's actually plastic. It does have the lines that look very similar to Schrager lines, which is visible in ivory. But if you look at the back of this piece, the back has scratches. It makes me think that this is some type of resin meant to imitate ivory. So I'm not sure. So I do think I overpaid a bit for this piece, but that's okay. I still think she's really beautiful and I need to do a little more research on her. But this is all set in sterling silver. And yeah, it's an interesting piece that I need to do a little more research on. And so if anyone has any more information for me about this maker, I actually thought it was an MOVIG, but now that I'm looking, I think it might be an H. So I need to look that up again and see if something else comes up, because when I Googled MOVIG, Google just tried to correct me to moving and yeah, nothing really came up. So I will do some more research on that. But yeah, a beautiful bracelet nonetheless. And just a lesson, you know, sometimes we buy things and you're gonna have some scores and then you're gonna have some pieces that, this was probably right about retail. I don't think this was really a steal of a deal, but that's okay. She's beautiful anyway. Oh, and then this adorable little Scotty dog. I love him. He was, I think, $3 at one of my local antique stores. And he is a carved wood Scotty dog with some painted details. And you can see there's a little bit of paint loss on his little scarf or tie there. That's okay. I think that could be fixed. Here is what that pin looks like. I believe he's from probably the 40s, maybe the 30s. I just thought he was so, so charming. Look at how adorable the whiskers are carved around his nose, his little face. I just thought he was so, so sweet. Had to pick him up for a few dollars. Adorable. Yes, I found this very sweet little Wedgewood sterling silver necklace. So this is the green color jasperware with a really beautiful cameo there. We have a woman who's holding a pitcher with some sort of bird. I am sure that this is a scene from mythology, and I just am not sure what the scene is exactly. We need to do some research on that. But it is marked Wedgewood, made in England, and the marking says 69B, which I think does indicate the year that it was made. I've not looked it up yet, so I'm not able to tell you exactly what year this is from. And the setting here is sterling silver, along with the chain. Just a beautiful Wedgewood jasperware piece. Love that. And here is another beautiful sterling necklace. So this is a sterling silver locket. It is on a sterling chain. And if we flip it over, you can see it is just marked silver there on the back. And it's just so beautiful. So this centerpiece pops out with the glass. So you can put, your photograph in there. And I love this Victorian woman in this photograph. Look at that necklace she is wearing. Isn't that fabulous? I wonder if that is some sort of jet or mourning necklace. It looks really dark. I don't know, but it's amazing. So yeah, the glass pops out. There we go. And so yeah, the glass just pops right back into place. I just thought she was adorable, and I thought this was a really beautiful style of locket because it doesn't really open up in the way that you normally see the lockets open up. Just have that piece of glass that pops out. Very, very cool piece. Next we have a few other pieces that I believe to be mourning pieces. So this one I just thought was absolutely stunning. We have this carved cameo, and here is what the back looks like. I think this is bog oak. I still am getting tripped up on deciphering the material on these mourning pieces. It's possible that this is bog oak. It could be gutta percha. I don't think it's jet. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the material here, but she is so fabulously carved. There is one area of damage you can see right under her chin. It is nicked there, but honestly, for all the places that it could be damaged, I think that's probably the best, because when you look at her straight on, you honestly can hardly see that detail, so I didn't really mind. And it also meant that the price on this was really, really good because it had that little bit of damage to it. But look how three-dimensional she is. Beautiful, definitely old, and just gorgeous. So that was a fun find. Next are these two little bar brooches, and I believe these are both jet. So this one here is a little more simple in its design, but just very, very sweet. Here is what the pin looks like on this one. It almost looks like maybe this was a part of something else and then was added, had the pin added later. Really not sure, but I do think that this is jet. And then we have this bar brooch, which has some really beautiful etching in it. I love the little starburst and diamond design. And here is the pin on this one. So yeah, just beautiful little mourning bar brooches. And then here was something a little more modern. When I say modern, it's more mid-century compared to the Victorian items we've been looking at. But this is a gorgeous iris glass brooch. You can see on the back here it is riveted in that classic mid-century starburst sort of design. We have a large round center rhinestone with these beautiful emerald cut pieces of glass surrounding it. And what I really loved about this is how vibrant the colors were in this glass. So I've found iris glass pieces before, but often the color is sort of dull, something that happens over time. And in fact, I have an earring here that I'm going to pull out just to kind of show you. I found this little earring in my stash recently, and I wish I had the mate to it. Unfortunately, it's just a single. But you can see that how the colors in this iris glass are quite a bit duller. This is how I usually find these pieces. So when I saw how beautifully vibrant the colors were in this one, I knew I had to pick it up. And yeah, it's gorgeous. Really, really love this one. Maybe we'll talk about these little spiders next. So this was kind of fun. So this black spider is something I've had in my collection for a few years. If you go way, way back on my channel, it's in one of my first videos where I purchased a lot of Goodwill jewelry. And honestly, that's sort of where this whole obsession with vintage and antique started, was with that jewelry lot. But he was in there, and I thought he was so cool. And if you look at the back, here is what the pin looks like. And I do think he's older. I think he's probably from the 30s, maybe the 20s. He is a wood body that has some lacquer or paint over top with these metal legs. And I just so happened to be scrolling on Shop Goodwill like I do, and I saw this red version. And I thought, how fun. I had never seen another one, and I picked him up. I think he ended up selling, I think I was the only bidder. So I think I paid $8 for him, which I was happy to do, to get a pair of these guys. So yes, this one is red, same pin mechanism. And I just thought it was super cool to now have a pair of these antique spider brooches. Really, really fun. Okay, and then this necklace. So this is a departure in style from everything else we've been looking at today, but I saw this hanging in my antique shop in one of the vendors' booths, and I immediately recognized the style of this inlaid work, which I have seen in Zuni pieces before. So I picked it up to take a closer look, and in fact it is signed on the back. So you can see this really dark patina, which is just the natural wear and age of the silver. And it is signed on the back here. It says Wesley and Ella L. Gia, Zuni. This is a word I can't make out, and then Mex. So Zuni, Mexico. I'm assuming this is the name of the city or town. I just can't make it out. But Wesley and Ella Gia, if you do look them up, they are a well-known jewelry makers, Zuni jewelry makers. They made these beautiful inlaid pieces, and the bird pieces are very desirable. So it has this gorgeous sterling silver, like paperclip style chain. It does have a hook clasp, and it's in really wonderful condition. So we have some mother of pearl inlay, some turquoise, and some onyx. Just gorgeous, you know, standing on this beautiful floral branch, and I just love it. I thought it was really, really beautiful. Now this one I do have listed in my Poshmark closet. I love the native pieces, but it's just not something that I really collect. So I found this one for a great price, at least I thought, because I know that they are pricey online. So if anyone is interested and you want to check it out, I do have it listed. Yeah, I'm happy to give you any more information or details, or if you want to make an offer, feel free. So yeah, it's just a really beautiful native piece. And if it doesn't sell, I only buy the things that I really love, honestly. So if it doesn't sell, I won't be too sad because it's really beautiful. Next, I don't often pick up cufflinks, but I was poking around in the costume jewelry section of my local antique shop, and I spotted these just beautiful etched cufflinks. And I noticed that they were actually marked sterling. So if you see on the very back there, it is upside down, they are marked for sterling. So if you can see at the back there, it is marked Anson. So that is a very common men's accessory cufflink maker that I have run across before, but usually it's in gold filled or costume. But these are sterling, and I just thought they were in really nice condition and really beautiful. And I think these were $2 because, again, I think they missed the sterling marking and just thought they were costume, but love them. Beautiful. Those I'll probably list eventually because I don't personally wear cufflinks, but they're beautiful and I do collect them if I think they're beautiful. Here is another piece of sterling. So I spotted this little brooch. It is freshwater pearls, and look how beautiful those pearls are. They've got a really gorgeous luster to them. And then if I flip it over, you can see it is marked sterling up at the top there. And I believe it's rhodium plated. That's why it is so nice and bright and shiny. It's a little more modern of a piece, but gorgeous. Again, didn't pay too much for it and just thought it was worth saving. Beautiful. And then we have this beautiful long cut glass necklace. So you can see we have these beautiful faceted cubes, our black faceted round beads, and then these really gorgeous, almost disc or saucer shaped spacer beads. And this necklace is really very, very long, and it is hand knotted in between each of the beads. And this one I did test with the Presidium, and it is just glass. It is not rock crystal or anything, but it is just gorgeous. It is so Art Deco in style, and I love how long it is. Just beautiful. I was really happy to find this and add it to my growing collection of glass necklaces. Beautiful. So yeah, I think that is everything on this tray. I think I've shared everything here. I have a lot of favorites on this tray today, but let me know what yours was. I'm very partial to this enameled brooch. I think there's something so beautiful about the design of this one. This one is a favorite for sure. I really love the cameos here, just stunning. So, so beautiful. The spiders, of course, just because it was so fun to find a match. Yeah, honestly, I love everything on the tray. I wouldn't have purchased it if I didn't love it. But I would love to know if you had a favorite piece or if you have any more information about any of these items. I always say I love to learn. I love when you guys comment and teach me something new about these pieces, because we can't all know everything, and I've really only been collecting for a few years, so I know that I still have lots to learn, but I just love these pieces. I love the history behind these pieces, and yeah, they're super fun to collect, and I hope they were fun to look through. I love sharing them with you here on the channel, so if you like these types of hauls, if you like vintage and antique jewelry, please consider subscribing. I do post hauls when I have pieces for you. I don't post super regularly, but I tend to wait until I have enough pieces where I feel like it's going to be a good haul. I want to have good pieces to share with you. So yeah, I'll be back with another jewelry haul soon. I know I have a few pieces that I've purchased recently that are going to be shipped to me, so I'll have some new things to share in the future. Yeah, and I forgot that I was going to try to test some pieces with you. So I mentioned that I picked up a Presidium for Christmas, so we're going to let this calibrate here for a second. And yeah, so we're going to test a few of the pieces together. There's a few that I thought could be rock crystal, maybe. We have some other stones that we can test together, hopefully. So once this kind of warms up and we do some calibration on it, we'll be able to test a few things. Okay, so I am still somewhat new to using this, but I'm going to test. I have these rings here that I know are diamond, so just for consistency's sake, I'm going to try to test one of these and just make sure that this Presidium is reading correctly. So you can see that went all the way up to the diamond. So that is reading correctly. So yes, that is a good test. And I did test this brooch before, so let's see where this one lands. Yep, and so this one is going right up there into the citrine. So our center stone here is in fact a citrine. Let's test this one that I believe is glass. Yeah, this one doesn't move at all. So definitely not a real citrine, which I had already suspected. Let's test the little stones here that I believe are just glass. Yep, as I suspected, not moving. And then yes, this one here I believe is like a jasper or an agate of some sort. So that one's moving, which makes sense. So yeah, these were the pieces I wanted to test. Not sure, it's moving just slightly, which, so probably just glass or crystal. Let's try this one. Nope, and this one doesn't move at all. Nope. And this one moves up here, which we know that this one is an agate. Any other stones we can test? This one I believe is an onyx. I don't think turquoise tests, so I don't think that's going to give us any reaction. We can test our beautiful calcedony. Yep, and this one's moving right on up. So beautiful. And then this piece that I'm 99% sure is glass. Yep, just glass. So yeah, the Presidium has been fun to play around with. Again, I'm still sort of learning, and I know that it gives false reads sometimes, so yeah, just glass, but really beautiful glass. Well, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.